Hi you, and welcome back to Pond House Garden. Today we are showing you step 3 of the Dahlia tuber winterization process. For those of you who have already been part of the channel, you'll have already watched step number 1 and 2 that we've posted. For those of you who are new, you can refer back to the Dahlia playlist, and it shows you step number 1, which is cutting back the stalks to 6 inches above the ground, and step number 2 of the winterization process, which is then digging up the dahlias and having them put on the drying rack for a certain amount of time. Step number 3 today is then dividing the tuber dahlias, and following really soon will be step number 4 of the winterization process, which is then putting it into totes filled with vermiculite and stabilizing the temperature and humidity levels. So let's get started. So right now we have a whole bunch of tuber bunches or bundles that have been taken out of the garden. They were left, the stalks were cut at 6 inches above the ground, and they were left in the ground for 1 to 2 weeks. And the eyes have now pushed out on these bundles. And Dad is here with me. Say hello, Dad.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Hi. And we are going to get busy taking care of dividing every single one of these and dipping the ends and any cuts into cinnamon, which you will see in a moment.
Okay, so I remember the first tuber I cut up. I was so afraid that I was going to kill something, and now it doesn't matter. Some are going to make it, some aren't. So we try and cut the stalk off as close down here as we can. Then you have a look and you say, oh yeah, broken one. It's toast. So now we have these large bumps.
The crowns.
And that
is what we're after.
Is what we're after. So we just cut that like that.
And everybody must be mindful that we all have different ways of dealing with this.
So now we have these little bumps everywhere, our eyes. This is a tuber, this is a neck, this is
the body, the neck, and the crown.
The body, the neck, and the crown.
That's
so
right.
We can got to be careful of that little one because it wants to die.
Okay.
So
it doesn't want to die. It's just fragile.
It's fragile, yeah. So all along in here, in this area here, are very, very little eyes that will grow.
That will grow in the spring.
Sprout out.
That's right. So we accomplished one for Colorado Classic, and then
we just wipe it in cinnamon.
And that will prevent further rot growth.
Somebody told me that would help.
Yeah, your smart daughter told you that.
My smart daughter. And then we have to take a pen.
Oh, right. But have we researched the number yet?
We searched the number. Check the number.
Okay, let's check the number. Do we have? Oh,
does that look like 407?
Looks like a 407. And sure enough, it is number 407 on our little list.
So can't get enough numbers. It says Colorado Classic. It says 407. That works pretty good. Let's just put 407 on the tuber.
Yeah, and we choose to use a Sharpie on that. It seems to work best, although we do go through quite a few Sharpies because these are wet tubers. So
there's the number of the mother that was planted last year, and the number is reasonably legible.
It is a 4, it is a 0, and Dad came up with that was a 7. So
yeah.
And so we will continue to write 407 on each one of these that we divide using the Sharpie. And then we will make sure to dip any cuts or any of the area on the crown in cinnamon. And then we're going to let them sit here for another 24 hours.
Another thing that I use quite a bit on some of these big ugly ones there, I dip it in bleach. This is great. Love it.
Now, Dad, that you're using your DeWalt, which is ingenious. So tell me, what made you reach for the DeWalt when you were doing the Dahlia tuber division?
Um,
And specifically, this. Oh, let me pick it up here. It's this end
it's a
here,
multi-tool.
and this works fantastic.
Yeah,
And we make sure that we dip it, we sanitize everything
that's right.
when we're dealing with each individual tuber.
So here we have the mother, which we generally don't keep
And why don't we keep her, Dad?
because somebody told me that it won't make it.
Your smart daughter.
My smart daughter again. Yeah, but sometimes if it looks really healthy, why not try it out? But so here we go. Here's a new
body.
body, a new neck,
Mm-hmm.
and a new
Crown.
Mm-hmm. And there it is. So we can cut that off the mother.
There's the little eye. You can see the little bump there.
Like that. And then we can trim this up a bit more.
Yeah, we don't need all of that because that's just going to promote rot growth. So we can take that down. And Dad and I are usually pretty generous with the amount we leave, but you'll see some growers trim it right back.
See, there's an eye, and there's an eye. There's three eyes there.
Hold that still for a sec, Dad. Beautiful. Yep. All right at the end there.
Yeah, there's more.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows which one's going to work.
And then we'll dip that in cinnamon.
Now I like to cut them and dip them right away because if you let them sit, they start to scab over on their own, and then the cinnamon doesn't stick. So I don't know. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent.
Right. So do it while it's wet.
Yeah. So what did we say that number was?
407. Should I do it using my Siri voice? That's number 407.
Yeah. So that's ready to go in storage.
Okay. But not yet.
Not yet.
Because we are going to leave them in these trays for another 24 hours.
There you go.
Divided, as you will see. Okay.
All right. So now I'm still reducing this down.
Mm-hmm.
You can see there's a crown. No, not much neck.
Mm-hmm.
There's one.
Yeah, and that's a crown.
And that one over there. So
tricky.
I'm thinking, well, this one's busted.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if I cut in here, first off, I'll get rid of that. And then I can cut through here. So now I have that one there. That one's okay. That one's got a bit of few eyes. And that one there, that's the little junker. That's no good. But this has eyes here as well.
Great.
Poking out every which way. So we can
trim that back a bit.
Trim that back a bit. I've cut the end off already. And that's going to be...
So now you want to dip. 407.
7?
Oh,
just testing.
You're sneaky.
Just testing.
You're being funny.
Well, it was a poor attempt.
And the other end there, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So now it's all of the exposed areas are covered in cinnamon.
Yeah. So now we look at this and say, well, we can trim off this because this is just flesh here. Mm-hmm. We don't need that. It's just more stuff to rot. But that makes, you see the little eye right there?
Do.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah. So
it's just a little bump. Just a little bump pushing out. And then we wake them up next spring. That will push out a green shoot, that little space, that little bump.
Good to go. All right, let's let's
talk about, Dad. In one growing season, we planted one tuber of Colorado Classic, and then we ended up with how many of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So out of one tuber now comes 7 tubers, of which we can expand our garden beds, or we can sell off some of the excess if we choose to.
So this is where we have 6. This is mother.
That's true. We have 3 6, and then mother is 7.
So we have 6.
And those were
we
broken.
broke 2 digging them out. So from past experience, there's no point keeping them because they don't work. You need the eye, and you need a healthy neck, and you need a body, and you need to number them.
And then Dad's just throwing the excess into a compost bucket, and we'll put that into our compost. And we're okay to put these ones into the compost because they haven't shown any sign of virus. If we were concerned about virus, we wouldn't be taking them into the division stage of winterization, and we certainly would not be putting anything with a virus into our compost, because then there's a chance that it could spread to other plants or other dahlias. Oh,
here.
okay, so you want to show us in here?
Yeah, look at these. Look at there. That's an eye. Look at that for an eye and an eye. Eyes and eyes. Eye. All right, now I got to cut this monster. I should get my chainsaw. There you go. Sanitized tool already.
I seriously think every dahlia grower should have this DeWalt. That is great.
Okay, now, good grief. Kind of, if I go straight through there. And I flip it over.
Sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit in order to do that first cut, and then it all comes together.
The first cut is the deepest.
The first cut is the deepest.
That's what they say. All right, now you just sort of tease them apart. Now, look at all the treasures we've got. Okay, let's get my special sanitized tool. We'll cut this one off here. There, we've kept some eyes. We got a neck. Got the body. Looking good. All right, now you can see that it just looks like it should be cut right through there. It's just saying, cut me here. Maybe I shouldn't have. Okay. Trim that off.
Now you've got a crown.
Crown, neck.
Nope, other way. Body.
Body.
Neck.
Neck. Crown. Eyes. My eyes. Just trim that off. We got eyes all over that one. Eyes are on you. Okay.
Oh,
all right, now, got to be sort of rough and careful.
Rough and careful at the same time. Interesting.
Well, yeah, because you see that stem right there? That's an eye.
That's an eye.
And I don't want to. All right, got that off. Got some eyes there. See them?
Yeah. Got the raised bumps there on the crown.
Yeah. And then here we go. Here we go, loop-de-loop. Another one we can prune up pretty good.
Yeah.
It's got good eyes everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll just rub that dirt off.
Yeah, we're going to rub that dirt off.
In stage number 4, or step number 4, video to come. Another one there. Excellent.
Yeah,
that looks like a nice one.
Yeah, that's this one sets eyes really nice. I can't look at that.
Yeah, there's one coming out right. Hold on, let me focus there. Yeah, right at the end.
Yeah.
Right up there. And some of them do. I find that some set eyes really easily, some need a little bit longer. Now there's a mother. So there's the tuber, the original tuber we planted in the spring. It has a number on it. She's looking old.
Looking a little tired. There's the tag. Now,
You can barely see the tag.
help me out, because we got to do better than Sharpies, because they don't like the sun.
Yeah, well, we could shout out to the community to ask what people use, because certainly these Amazon tags and these Sharpies, they do not last a season at all.
But I'm looking at that thinking that that's 416.
416, it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And then we can check it with our list.
And then we had, that ain't going to help. That's
Nope.
row 3 at the end.
Yes.
That's
and
going to really help.
I take videos of every single one of the rows. And if I am questioning a variety, then I will write down where it was in the row so that I can rewatch the video and then check it to my inventory sheet. And we're looking up 416 as we speak. And you know,
416
yeah,
is supposed to be Sonic Bloom.
yes, I agree. It is Sonic Bloom, because that is, yes, that is it. And I will bring that up in the screen to show you what Sonic Bloom looks like.
Excellent.
She is beautiful.
Excellent.
Excellent. I'm happy with that. So the
I'm
numbering
glad
system
that-
worked well.
Sure glad my daughter keeps records.
Well, it's teamwork, right? So Sonic Bloom 416. And again, it really helped having that original mother numbered. And that way, if it gets away from us, we have an original to go by. Sonic Bloom is a prolific bloomer as well. Lots of flowers on that one throughout the year. And you can see how much it multiplied as well. So one tuber went in, and this is the amount that we have out. So not bad for one growing season. Ooh, now it looks like I made a mistake here when I was using the pitchfork. I have cut this. Now, you do not need to keep this as a full tuber. When Dad separates this, you can actually cut it off, and you can just put the cinnamon on the end, and the tuber will still grow, will still sprout eyes, even though it has half a tuber length, so long as this end is not rotting from storage. So I'll show you that in a second.
Think about when you plant potatoes, you cut them and keep an eye on the potato. Kind of the same. It's very similar. Tuber is, so you can cut it off.
It's like a root vegetable.
Yeah, let it scab
And it is,
over.
because you can actually eat tubers. Some people eat the tubers.
Yeah, Bart does.
Yeah, Bart does. We haven't eaten a tuber yet, but
Well, he won't let me.
because Bart wants to eat them all.
He hogs them all. All right, we'll just take another one off there. Now,
Yeah, look at that rot and mold starting there.
oh no, it's
Let me
not.
get rid of that.
It's great.
It's great. It will be great once we divide it. So that's the one there.
All right, so
Yep.
let's top it through there. That keeps an eye over on this side. And there's an eye for this one, and there's an eye starting right there.
Yeah, perfect.
We'll put that through there.
Great. And then we
And then-
could cut this one right off where I've damaged it,
I'm-
right in half.
Yeah, but I'm looking, it's split so far up.
Mm.
Would it,
Mm-hmm.
you think it would?
Oh, here we go. Oh, that should be on a Christmas list. But yeah, and now we can just dip the end in cinnamon to prevent the rot. But you can see here, I'm just going to pick this up. So no rotting happening in the core. And see how it's got a lot of water still in it. So we're going to leave these to dry for another 24 hours before we put them into the totes. But we don't want to dry the center out so much that it starts to shrivel the tuber. We don't want the tuber to be squishy. We want it to be hard for storage.
Lots of dirt. Somebody didn't wash well.
Right. So again, this is why we find that dividing them now is better than leaving them as a full bundle, because that could have started to rot from the amount of dirt that's there.
Look at this. How are you going to do that? Right there.
Tricky.
Tricky. All right.
They grow so intertwined sometimes.
So we cut that off.
Of course. And then, yeah, all of this is going to have to be rubbed off, all that wet dirt.
It can dry off.
Yeah.
And then here we can get rid of this part. Don't need that.
Gonzo.
And there's our eye.
Let's see the eye there.
Right there.
Yeah, there's an eye right in there.
And 1, 2, 3 right there.
Yeah.
Couple up there. Whoa, it's got him. Eye.
Well, he's just deciding which one he's going to push out.
That's up to him.
That's up to him.
Maybe it's not a him.
Maybe it's a her.
Maybe it's a her.
All right. Wrapped right around each other. Tricky.
It's got some eyes. You right there?
Yep.
That eye there. Maybe I'll just trim that off. That's fine. This one, we don't need that. And we don't need that. So now we got a ring of eyes here. Got that root off. Bob's your uncle. Ready to go.
Okay.
Okay.
And we just continue the same process until all of these have been divided behind us. All right, and that's it. So the ones that we took out today, the last round there, they are just drying overnight. And then all of these ones we have now divided and dipped and numbered, and they will stay here for around 24 more hours. And I'll just wait for the perfect dryness or the perfect texture of tuber to put into the vermiculite, which starts the stage 4 winterization step, the final part of winterizing. And that concludes step 3 of the Dahlia tuber winterization process. Step 4 is to follow really soon behind this video. Thanks so much for subscribing and becoming part of the Pond House Garden family, and we will see you again real soon. Okay, I was running errands after Dad and I finished filming our video, and I realized there was 2 quick videos that I created a couple days ago, and I wanted to show you some really important little tidbits about dividing dahlias. This first video, it shows the clump of tubers that I took out of the ground about 2.5 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks after I had cut the stalks back to 6 inches. So typically I leave them in 1 to 2 weeks. These were left in later, and I wanted to show you what happens to the eyes the longer you leave them in the ground once you've cut them back. Take a look. Here is a great example of the eyes starting to shoot out or show up after I've cut the stalks down to 6 inches above the ground. Now, if you look here, 2.5 weeks ago, I had cut the stalk, and about this area right here was sitting underneath the soil. This was sitting above the soil. So it was down there like this in the ground. And so usually I pull them up about 1 week or 2 weeks after I cut the stalk down. But this is going a little bit longer, and look at the eyes that have shown up. And as I showed you in a different video, I had let you know that basically when you cut these ends down, the tuber then knows not to put energy into this stalk anymore, and instead put the energy down into the growth of the tubers down below. I'm gonna put this down for a second so you can see this. Okay, so These white bumps here are the eyes sprouting growth. Normally they just show up kind of as a bump. Because I've left this in the ground so long, it's actually starting to push new growth, so it shows up a little bit white. These eyes belong to this tuber. And if I look over here, these eyes belong to this little skinny tuber. This eye back here belongs to this tuber. And if I keep rotating around, oops, these eyes here are the growth that belong to this tuber. And so the more I rotate it, the more eyes that I see belong to each individual tuber. So if I cut this clump of tubers apart, then there should be an eye, or at least one eye, for every single tuber that I have here. And that means that each one can be planted individually to give me one dahlia plant next spring. And that's what you're looking for. When you go to buy a tuber from a person that sells tubers, or from the tuber selling shows, I believe like a lot of the Dahlia societies will have an annual tuber sale event. And so all of the local growers will bring out their tubers for sale. You want to look and make sure that you can see a visible eye on the tuber that you are buying. Or if you can't, I would tend to go with the one that you can see an eye on the tuber. Not to say that an eye won't appear later, but it's way better to buy a tuber that you can actually see the eye than one you hope will see an eye. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and start to divide these, and I will let you see what the divided tuber looks like once I have it apart. Okay, so here's little cutie patootie Bloomquist Sweet. I've broken the tuber clump into several individual tubers, and I would hope that they will all produce some kind of a stalk for me, or a shoot in the spring, and then I can put them out into the garden individually. So one clump of tubers, one plant last year has now become potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plants for me. Now the growth, after I had cut this down, the growth did start. As you can see, the little leaves here, it was trying to push out new growth, saying, help me, Michelle's just cut me down, I need to grow. And then if we look closer at each individual tuber, you can see the eye or eyes starting on each individual one. So this one has an eye. Let's see if this one has an eye. And this one has an eye. It's kind of hard with the phone, so you can see the raised part there with the eye. This little guy, believe it or not, it has an eye. This little one has an eye. This little one has an eye as well. A few of them maybe. And then I've left this one, even though this may have been the mother last year, it may produce an eye for me, so I'm going to leave this in storage and just see. Could be an eye at the crown there, but I'll just see if that grows back for me. And we'll want to get this off. We don't want that in storage. This one has a raised part for an eye as well. So every single one of these are showing me an eye, which is fantastic. And so I will let them dry off for 24 hours, and then I will sprinkle the cinnamon on top and then put them into storage. But you'll see that more in the step 4 video of Dahlia tuber winterization. I just noticed my running shoes in the back. Sometimes I do have to change out of the farm boots. Okay, this second video, super important. For those of you who are subscribers and who have watched the shorts and the other videos that I've posted, you'll notice that I do let you know when I bring in a new tuber to our farm collection during the year, I will always plant those tubers in their own pots or their own raised bed, just to make sure that I like their growing habits, to make sure there's no viruses that show up on them, and to overall make sure that I want to add them into our color palette that we have. Thank goodness I do that, because this year, sure enough, a gift that I received from someone, it turned out it had leafy gall. And I wanted to show you what leafy gall looks like, because you hear about leafy gall, but this was a great example of what leafy gall is all about. So it was in its own plant pot, because I make that a habit. And I immediately threw it into a garbage bag and put it in the garbage disposal rather than putting it into compost, because if I put the leafy gall into compost, it will spread potentially to other plants and other dahlias when I use the compost. Now, I may have already said this in the video because I can't remember exactly what I told you, so I'm sorry if I repeat myself, but here is the leafy gall video, and this will be the end overall of the step 3 Dahlia tuber winterization process, I promise you. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment below. And thanks again for subscribing. Bye. Okay, so here is what I believe to be a prime example of gall. Let's see if it can come in here. There we go. So this tuber was given to me as a gift this year, and like I said on prior videos, I plant these new tubers separate from the rest of my collection, and I typically put them into their own plant pots, and then that way I can watch their growth and see what happens. And sure enough, when I dig it up from the plant pot, which I have done just now, I can see if there's anything suspicious. And sure enough there, and hold on, if I roll it over, here as well. Now, absolutely none of my other tubers in the main beds have shown this. All of the dahlias were cut back at the same time on the same day. So therefore, it's not like this would be further along in growth than any of the other ones. And what I don't particularly like is the fact that there are these fused growth points. So there's several little bumps all kind of fused together coming up. And normally with my dahlias, there is just one single growth point that comes up for a shoot. So this cluster effect makes me extremely suspicious. Let's see where else I can see anything else on here. We've got a big cluster there. We've got a cluster kind of happening here. We've got some funny things happening down in here. Just trying to focus in on that. In here. It's just not looking good for this guy. And it's really unfortunate because it produced the most beautiful flowers. I was really in love with it. But again, I'm not willing to chance this. I don't want this to spread. See if you look here. Oh, there's the dog. Ozzy, what are you doing? If you look here, just for the sake of division, this would be really nice to divide because it's really obvious. There's these growth points here. Here's a growth point. Here's an eye. Here's an eye. Here's an eye. And I would just make sure to keep this crown area. So I'd have a body, a neck, and this crown with these growth points. And I would lop it off and put it into storage. Same with this one. You can see that this one, let's see if I back this up here. Pull this off a bit so you can see. All right, so here is a neck and it goes on to the body here. Neck, body, and this would be the crown. And then these are 1, 2 eyes, maybe a third eye here. So I would again carve this out of this area, and you'd want to keep the crown, the neck, and the body together. We will show you that in the video. But this gives you an idea of ideally what we're looking for. And this is why we cut them back 2 weeks before. We cut the stalks, the main stalks down to 6 inches, leave them in the ground. They'll push out this new growth. So this is a great example of how to divide. The only problem is I am not liking this at all. Not at all. So this is going to go into the garbage, into a garbage bag, not in my compost. I do not want this to spread around. I'm just going to put it in a garbage bag and throw it out into the garbage.